What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journos, Comics, and Pop Culture. And today we're going to be looking at a situation that I personally had with CGC regarding an account issue, to say the least, right? So basically, what I'm going to do is just bring this issue to the forefront to give you all transparency, to an inside look on this specific situation. And I want to give my feedback because I know there's been a lot of talk lately with CGC, the price changes, quality control. There's a lot of people that sit on one side of the fence, a lot of people that sit on the other side of the fence. It's really you either love them or you hate them right now. So it seems. So we're going to dive into this video and see if we could just start some good conversation and good debate around CGC in the state of the company right now. Before we get into the video, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take the time to do so. Check out all the awesome links below. You can become a Patreon member of the channel to help support. You can become a YouTube member of the channel to help support by clicking that join button below. My official Journos Comics merch link below as well, where you can rock some fresh gear and help support the channel at the same time. And of course, as always, check out the Comic Book Canon YouTube link below. Click that link, give us a sub on our Comic Book Canon channel. We have live shows every Friday night, and if you're not subbed yet, you are definitely missing out. All right, let's get into this video. What we're going to do is we're going to bring up an email back and forth here that I had with some CGC reps. Before we get into this email, though, I have to give you all the backstory on what went down. All right, so I have a CGC membership, and that membership renewed, I believe it was either the last week of February or the first week of March, somewhere around there, but it was well before, the price changes. When did the price change? I think the price changes were announced like the first week of April or maybe the last week of March, somewhere around there, right? So my membership was set to auto renew. It renewed, and during this time is when I was getting my books ready to send to CGC. I made a video about it, I believe, back in March, and about the books that I was going to send off. That is, so the way I was doing it, I don't have a lot of books. I had like 8 or 9 books to send off, and I had to press and clean most of them. So I had to get them all ready. So it's a process. It's a process. I took probably more than 2 weeks. I think 3 weeks to really get through pressing and cleaning all my books. But my membership's renewed. I'm not in a hurry. Wait times are crazy right now, so I'm just like, who knows? Maybe they'll calm down by the time I get done with my books. And maybe I'll just do a fast track order, spend a little bit more money since I'm only sending like 8 or 9 books. That's where my head was at. So the price changes were announced. I read over everything and I was a little confused because I didn't know if when the price changes hit, because they said if you get your invoice in and you get them sent out by April 28th, you're good. So I was thinking, okay, do I need to do that as a member, or am I still going to be locked into the prices or to the discount, or am I only going to get the discount on the new prices? I was a little confused. So I called the next day, literally less than 24 hours after they made the announcement. I gave CGC a call. I talked to an individual who was very polite. He, listened to all my questions, and I'm gonna tell you all right now. I have never called CGC and had a bad experience talking with them. They've always been cordial. They've always been respectful. They've always listened to my questions. And I've said this in the past. They've actually been very transparent because in 2019, I called twice, and in early 2020, I called, and I had folks admit to me that they were overworked and understaffed. They were being very honest with me. So I've had nothing but good experience talking with their customer service reps. There's a few that I've talked to that I felt like, wow, like, thank you so much. Like, you really, like, I made a best friend here almost. But anyways, I was talking to this individual. He was really courteous, took time to answer my questions. but he gave me wrong information. This is what he told me. I do my due diligence, folks. I knew the questions that I needed to ask, and I specifically asked him this, almost verbatim. I said, being that my auto renewal already went through, do I need to send my books out for them to be received before April 28th to get the old prices? And am I just does that mean I just get the 10% off the new prices if it's later on during my membership year? This individual specifically told me that nope, you're good. You're going to be grandfathered in to your membership at the old tiers, at the old prices, and at the old benefits until your membership year expires. He basically made it sound like the April 28th cutoff date in order to get those old prices was for non-members or non-members that don't have a year set up already. That's the way he made it sound. I am 100% sure of that. You know, I posted my concerns about this in a Facebook group, and of course I got a bunch of crap. How do we know that you're not lying and you just think that you said this? And I'm like, look, folks, I know what I said. I know the questions that I asked, and I know how he responded. I am very good at doing my due diligence. So I took that in and I said, thank you, sir, very much for this information. Now, I'm not going to rush. You know what I did? I took my time. I went back to my combo books and I said, well, I don't know, maybe I'll add a couple more to my order. Keep in mind, I had all of my books already submitted into the, or at least computed into the online order form. I didn't submit the order and finalize the order, but they were all in there. And for anyone that's a CGC member, if you put your order in and if you save it in your cart, they'll save there. They won't go away until you place your order. So I had them all in there. I was thinking about maybe adding a book or two, maybe dropping one and switching a couple out. I was taking my time. But then when April 28th passed, you know what happened? My order was knocked out of my cart. And so when I went back in to add the books again, it was giving me the new prices with the 10% discount. And I said, whoa, this is not what I was told. So I proceeded to call CGC back. I spoke with a woman who, again, she was just amazingly polite and nice, and I felt so comforted. To be quite honest, I told her everything that happened, and I told her what the individual said to me. She said, yep, that's incorrect. I do apologize. She said, let me put you on hold. I'm going to talk to my supervisor, see what we can do. She put me on hold. She came back over. She was like, I talked to my supervisor. He wants to look at this. Let me get your account information, and I'm going to get back to you and see what we can do. I said, okay, thank you. That was this last Monday. All right. I didn't hear anything from them all week. So I called back, I believe it was yesterday on Thursday, and I spoke to another woman who, again, was very polite. I told her everything. She said, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to give you a call back. She called me back within the hour. She found out who I spoke to. The other two reps, she found out the individual that gave me the false information, and she found out the other woman that I spoke to who was talking to a supervisor. She said she was still talking to the supervisor to find out what it is they can do. She said, so hopefully they'll get back to you. They'll send you an email shortly as soon as they find a resolve. I was like, thank you so much. So we basically confirmed everything that I was stating and that I was given wrong information. So last night, I get this email, all right, or yesterday afternoon. I'm gonna read this email here for you guys. And again, big shout out to Justin here. I'm assuming he's just doing his job. But let's read what he said. He said, hello, Christopher. Thank you for your patience regarding this matter. I apologize that you were misinformed about the services that you were grandfathered into. To be clear, you are eligible for your 10% discount, but not the pricing for the remainder of this year's membership. We will be issuing you a one-time credit of $15, which will cover the price difference between the old and new prices for your 8 modern books. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you and have a wonderful day. I want to make something clear here. I actually calculated a little bit of this wrong in my reply, and I wanted to note that right now. But I'll discuss that a little later when I show you guys my reply. But basically, um, they're stating that they're going to issue a $15 credit. So that's for the 8 books. I told them specifically that I was thinking about sending in 8 books. So at this point, if I did decide to send more, I'm going to be paying the new prices. So with the 10% discount, of course. So Justin comes on board and offers me a credit. So we're gonna look at this situation. So far so good. I really appreciate everything that CGC's done and how they've handled this. And they're saying, hey, look, this is our bad. We're gonna own up to it, and we're gonna give you a credit. So I appreciate that. So I'm gonna show you guys my reply. All right, so I say right here, I say, thank you, Justin. I really appreciate how you all have handled this situation. I have to inquire, though. It was my intent to send the 8 books via Fast Track, which with the current prices at a 10% discount is somewhere around $3 more per book. Is there any way that I could still send them Fast Track at the old rate too, or maybe with a credit that can at least put me closer to that old rate? Thank you. All right, so again, I'm inquiring. This is what I was going to do. I'm trying to see if they're willing to, again, keep me at the price point that I was told when I was provided the incorrect information. This is Justin's reply. Hello, Chris. I reached out to management regarding the situation, and I am only able to provide you with the $15 credit that I offered previously. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Okay. All right, guys, before I get into my next reply, I want you guys to know something right now. I didn't read this and start pumping my fists and throwing a tantrum. All right. I'm a very sound and rational individual, and I'm approaching this from a business standpoint. Here's the thing. They are already taking care of me to a certain extent. All right. Like I said, they already admitted to their wrongdoing, to their fault. They didn't need to do that. If they didn't, it would have been horrible business. It would have been bad business and left an extreme sour taste in my mouth where I would, quite honestly, probably never give them my business again. They owned up to it, though. Their customer service so far has actually been amazing. I'm sold on their customer service so far, but this right now does bring up a question mark of concern. And I'm going to tell you why by reading my next reply. All right. And I want you guys to listen to this. Don't listen to this reply as an entitled customer trying to, nitpick. Don't read this reply as me being a disgruntled customer. Read it as me being a businessman trying to understand what would I do if I was CGC to take care of my customers. So here we go. I'm going to read this. Now, remember, I did get a little bit of the math wrong, but let's go into this. Thanks, Justin. I appreciate you all providing me some sort of credit at all, as it helps. If you don't mind me expressing my viewpoint, though, and sharing this with management, I'm basically saying, I'm good now, but I want you to share this with management because maybe you guys could sit down and, take the situation as a learning experience. So this is what I say. The $15 credit isn't even giving me a total credit on the difference in the grading price, and is leaving me to still pay $1.80 more for each book in the grading fees. Okay, I think I had that wrong, and I told him this too, and we'll get to that. I basically went in and did the order, and the reason why I was thinking it's still $1.80 more is because I think that $15 credit isn't going to show up until I submit my order. So I already apologized to Justin. I said, I think I got that part wrong, but my point still stood here. So this is what I said. I said, by not offering me even a partial credit on the fast track fees, I'm now not going to use the fast track service. If I was able to get a credit that put the fast track fees at least close to the old price, CGC would still be making more money off of my order. So you guys see that here? So basically, by not giving me any discount on fast track, they're going to end up losing money on my order, right? Because they're not getting a dime from me for fast track because now I'm not using it, right? So I'm just coming from a business standpoint. Let me continue. If I was able to have a credit that put the fast track fees close to the old price, CGC would still make more money off of my order. Sure, it's only a handful of dollars in the grand scheme of things, but it's about principle. If I was to still use fast track, I'm going to not say this next part because I was wrong. If I was still using fast track, I would be paying roughly, and actually this number is going to be roughly about $35 more because because a CGC employee was not properly trained and provided a customer with false information. I go on to say, now this is just my take as a businessman, all right? As a businessman myself, I would have recognized that I'm going to change that, $35 credit next to a $15 credit are both small losses for the company, and I would have focused on best practices to make sure that the customer felt taken care of in a situation like this, meaning issuing a proper credit to get the prices at what the customer was told would have not only saved the company more money in the end because the customer would have utilized more services and ultimately spent more money, but it would have also solidified positive customer perception, assuring a greater chance of that customer continuing to give CGC their money on a residual basis. Now a customer is in the mindset that because of poor employee training and bad customer service, if something like this happens again, the customer would once again have to be responsible for the negligence. All right, wrapping up here, I say I'm merely a small fish in a sea of plenty, but I hope my feedback can be taken in because I do believe that no company is too big to listen to its customers. I'm not irate or irrational, but rather providing a logical, respectful, and rational statement to why I think this was the wrong decision by CGC. And then I did say, Justin, I apologize, just to be clear, the $15 credit, if that credit is being applied after I finalize the order, then you're right. You guys are covering the total difference and at least the grading service fees, right? So this is what I want you guys to do. And I'll probably still get haters in the comments. You're just complaining. I'm not here. I'm not, because I think ultimately, even though I say right here, I feel like this was the wrong decision. I do. If I was CGC management, I would have spent $20 more. I would have gave a $20 more in a credit to allow me, a customer that was given the false information by an employee, to do the fast track service. It's an easy decision for me. Hands down easy. Honestly, I might not even nitpick, and I might just even give a $50 credit on us just because you go above and beyond. Because again, in the grand scheme of things, let me give you an example. After I graduated high school, I worked at Starbucks for many years. And Starbucks was a great company to work for. And one best practice that Starbucks as a company taught, okay? If we made a drink and we made it wrong, right? And the customer said, "Oh, I wanted like, say they got a latte and they wanted soy milk in it. I wanted soy milk and you gave me dairy. I'm allergic to dairy. Oh, I'm so sorry." We would take that drink back. Or say that we forgot to put the vanilla syrup in it and they're like, "Oh, I don't taste the vanilla. Oh, I forgot. Oh, you could just add it in." You know what we would do? We wouldn't just add it in. We would make them a brand new one. And you know what else we would do? We wouldn't just make them a brand new one, but we would give them a next drink on us card. We had these little cards that said, your next drink is on us, complimentary beverage on us. Why? Best practices. Because it's about knowing that every single customer matters and customer perception is everything. And we're going to do what we can, especially residual income, right? So as somebody that worked at Starbucks, I knew the faces of the people that came in every day or every week are regulars, right? So with CGC, the people that have auto renewal memberships, that's your residual income coming in. You need to take care of them because you don't want them to go to that Pete's across the street. You don't want them to go to that Pete's Coffee across the street or that Dunkin' Donuts across the street. You want them to keep coming to Starbucks. You don't want your residual Membership earnings, you don't want that return customer to say, oh, I'm going to take my business across the street to CBCS, right? So you go above and beyond. You don't nitpick. You don't nitpick between, I'm not willing to give you $20 more in credit, because in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing to a multi-million-dollar company like CGC. Own up to your issues and make it right. Go above and beyond. And again, if they would have issued me that extra $20, I would still be sending my books in fast track, and they would still be making a larger profit margin off of my order. And that's all I'm trying to say here, okay? So I'm not going to come here and say, CGC's bad. Shame on CGC. They're horrible. They're this and that. No. Overall, I had a very positive experience dealing with these reps. They were very polite, and to a certain extent, they covered their tracks. But then they hit a brick wall, and I felt like they made a wrong decision there in the end. All right. Overall, though, it was a decent experience, and I just want them to look at this situation and learn. I want the executives and the upper management to look at this and say, you know what? He's actually right. We are losing money on this specific order by not giving him an extra $20 credit. And look, if I was somebody else, we know that there's a lot of disgruntled people right now that are like, screw CGC. I don't care. I'm taking my money elsewhere. I could have been one of those people. I could have been. But I'm more logical. I'm more coming at this from a practical standpoint. What if I wasn't? They could have easily lost me. And look, I already have issues with CGC. I mean, I have issues with like every grading company. You all probably know that if you watch my channel. But I don't know. What I do know is because of the price hikes and the fact that I don't send in a lot of books every year, and that there's no 10% discount anymore, and there's not even that $21 discount for auto renewal. I'm not auto renewing my membership ever again. Will I send books to CGC next year again? I might. I'm not saying I'm never going to give them my business again, but this could have been a situation that could have really thrown a different customer that was a loyal CGC customer to a breaking point to say, I am not giving you guys my business anymore. So that is my take on my personal firsthand experience, everyone. I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Again, I'm not sitting here complaining. I'm coming from a very, very logical and rational business standpoint of how I feel CGC could have gone one up, and handled this situation a little better. But I will say, look, kudos to them for trying. And hey, I got something out of it. I'm going to send in my books, and I can't wait to get them back. So with that being said, leave your thoughts below, everyone. And again, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. Thank you for watching. Be well, and until next time.